Hawkeye Freefall issue 2 sees Clint and Linda attend a fundraiser, with Linda looking over Clint's recent battle wounds, hoping that he isn't hiding something from her. Clint says that he's hiding a lot from her, but nothing she'd want to know. He wants to know why he is really there, and while Clint stuffs his face with the food, Linda knows it's not because of the charities, since this is more of a Tony Stark or Danny Rand setting. Clint says that Tony didn't invent charity, but maybe he could have since he's old enough. As if on cue, Tony Stark arrives, meeting with Clint and Linda. Tony asks why out of all of the Avengers, she chose Clint, but Linda says she doesn't know, but maybe it has something to do with her having enough of dating guys with giant man-sized egos and bank accounts and Ant-Man-sized everything else. Clint likes Linda's sass as May Parker welcomes everyone to the Feast fundraiser, saying she wishes to invite someone very special onto the stage, someone who had the largest donation of the event. Tony thinks that it's him, but it's actually Clint, who thanks Tony for being his childhood inspiration, despite Clint being 2 years younger than him. Linda, meanwhile, talks with Peter Parker, who is there taking photos for the news outlets that need photos. Clint finishes his speech by quoting Guns N' Roses, making Peter comment about how bad Clint is at charity galas. Peter soon gets caught away, as on the Lower East Side, Ronan stabs a man in a drug lab, taking the criminal's money, as the man says that the Hood is going to kill him. Ronan dares him to as Spider-Man arrives, who quips about Ronan wearing his buddy's dirty laundry. Ronan warns him to back away, but Spider-Man knows this guy gives off bad guy vibes, so he attacks him. Ronan soon fights back, throwing his sword but missing Spider-Man, but that's all part of his plan as the sword hits a gas canister, blowing the entire building up. Ronan and Spider-Man are thrown from the building as Peter quickly uses his webbing to stabilize the falling building, leading to Ronan escaping. The next day, Hawkeye battles the Human Bomb, who thinks Clint is the worst Avenger ever. Clint disagrees, citing Stingray or Star Fox as even worse than him. Luke Cage arrives, angered at Clint as he shows him his paper, learning that Ronan blew up a building. Clint explains that it's not him and that he was at a charity gala that night with Tony. Luke thinks that someone dressing up as Ronan is messed up, and Clint thinks that it's not all that bad since Ronan did shut down a drug lab. Luke, however, thinks that the bad guy is some new Punisher, and if he really wanted to do some good, he would have helped the people in the neighborhood battling addiction, not just killing the men who sell the drugs, since the war on drugs doesn't work if you leave compassion behind. Just like how Clint went to the charity ball and gave a huge donation. However, Clint said he did that all for his girlfriend. Luke wonders where he got all the money from, and Clint says that he sold his apartment building. He asks Luke for some help, so Luke picks up a nearby manhole cover, flinging it at the Human Bomb and knocking him out cold. Luke wonders if Clint wants to come and get some food, but he just ate. Luke can't believe Clint won't watch him eat a taco after he saved his life, so Clint relents, agreeing to go with him, but first he needs to pick up his arrows, making Luke just wonder how much an arrow costs. At the Hood's safe house nearby, Hood learns of the Human Bomb robbing a bank, but doesn't care since it's not his bank. He does care, however, that the villain is now in a coma thanks to Hawkeye, telling his assistant to get his hot wife's number. Soon a hacker named Bryce comes to see Hood, having something of interest to tell him, so he goes with the villain, who finishes up his interrogation of a man. Hood asks the tied up man who is ripping him off, and Bryce keeps interrupting him since he might have an answer, but the Hood tells him to shut up. The beaten man keeps telling him that it's Ronan, so the Hood kills the man, saying this is a waste of time, wondering if Ronan is really hitting his competition as well. But since he killed the man, he won't know, meaning they'll have to go and round up some of Owl's men to ask them. The next day at Mercy Hospital, Clint, despite the nurses wanting to call security, goes in to see Edward Foy, disturbing his meeting with the CEO of Enelux Pharmaceuticals. Clint tells Foy that he wants to help fix the building that blew up the night before, since whomever attacked the drug lab wanted to do good, but he should have been out there in the community helping. Foy has no idea what he's talking about, so Clint says that he wants Foy to set up a free drug rehab center in the neighborhood. The two men laugh at Clint's offer, and Foy says that would need a massive amount of money to do that. Luckily, Clint has a huge bag full of money to help get things moving. That night, Ronan raids another of the Hood's safe houses, confronting the hacker Bryce, whom Ronan wants the safe house codes from, but Bryce won't give it to him. Ronan threatens to kill him, but Bryce knows that he won't, since he knows that Ronan is Hawkeye, and he can prove it since he has footage of the way Hawkeye fights, which when he compared to the new Ronan footage that he has, it matches perfectly, signaling that it is indeed Clint Barton under the mask. making Clint remove his mask and reveal his identity. Hawkeye Freefall issue 2 continued to be a fun adventure of a book that furthered the mystery of Ronin and even gave us a huge plot twist. I really enjoyed the huge chunks of the book were just Clint kind of doing everyday superhero stuff or stuff that someone in his line of work does. Crashing charities, getting into insult matches with really obscure and frankly ridiculous villains like the Human Bomb. Stuff like that gives the book character, and it works so well with someone like Clint Barnes since it's very reminiscent of that Matt Fraction run that everyone, including myself, really likes. The reveal at the end that somehow Clint is Ronin, or maybe a Ronin, is actually quite interesting, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out over the next couple of issues. Is there two Ronins? Is there a group of them? Is Clint trying to take back that name and doing this to do that? Really interesting ways that this book could go, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10.